All right, we're live on YouTube. Ross Brand, Rebecca Gunter, May King Sang. Welcome, everybody, to our meeting of 100 TV. It's the creative partner meeting, and the first two people to join us here in the studios are actually both just joined 100 TV as new show hosts in the last couple of days, Rebecca and May King. And so I'm Ross Brand. I'm one of the creative partners. My show's 100 TV, and no, it's 100 Predictions. On 100 TV, 100 Predictions is all about trends in digital media. Why don't we just go around, tell everybody what your name is, what your show is, and maybe a sentence about what's going to happen on your show. May King, do you want to start?
Okay. Hi, everyone. As Ross quite rightly said, my name is May King Sang. My first name is May King, and I have a show called the FOMO Creator Show. But for this incredible 100 TV, I'm going to be creating a FOMO for events show.
Very nice. Rebecca?
That sounds really cool. I can't wait to check it out. Hi, everybody. I'm Rebecca Gunter. My original show for 100 TV is called Business in the Raw, and it's pulling back the curtain on the real entrepreneur therapy that happens in brand development and marketing meetings, and the gritty how-tos, the tears, the triumphs.
We're going to get to see a little behind the scenes.
A little behind the scenes, what it's really like to be an entrepreneur and try and figure this all out on your own. So I'm excited to be here, and I invented this show with Ross yesterday. So, yay.
Very good. Let's get to some of our ongoing business. I'm just going to run through a couple of items. Our launch date for the new shows is May 1st. It's a Monday, and that's where our focus is. The network emphasis is on the May 1 launch. We're not currently pitching anything pre-launch. And we are live streaming maybe once a week, twice a week, our pre-launch creative partner meetings. We have 5 committees in which our creative partners are a part of. We have a branding committee, video, which includes promotional and social videos, website/email, YouTube channel, and monetization. If you're not yet part of a committee, do let us know in the creator group where which one you'd like to participate in, or which one or more. And let's move on to some new business. Branding committee. Jeff or Bridgetti might be here. Basically, they're working on logos and marketing materials and things like that. The website email committee, Sue Ann may be here. She's with a client, but basically they're going to come out with some blogs, and they need a high-res profile image from everybody, your show title and your show description, if it's different from what you have already submitted in the sign-up form. And the monetization committee, I can report that we are going to make it so that any host, you can promote your own business if you're hosting a show. You can share your own affiliate links. There's no restrictions as far as that goes. And also, the website has, the theme that we're using has a shopping page, and it's connected to WooCommerce. So we're open to ideas as far as what we could do with that. We could sell our 100 TV merch. We could sell our own products on it, perhaps, with a link that goes to wherever we do that. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on that. Any thoughts on what we could sell as far as 100 TV or our own stuff goes?
Well, gee, I think you could put some books up there. You may have heard of them. 100 predictions.
Perhaps we could
Some
put
sign 25 exclusive signed copies.
There you go.
Oh, now who's creating FOMO there, Rebecca? That's amazing. Love that idea.
Now, what about 100 for 100 TV? I mean, T-shirts, coffee mugs.
Yeah.
Do we need to get going first before we put that up? Does it seem presumptuous? Launch right with it, huh?
Yeah, totes. We want to create FOMO in the lead up to it, just as you're doing an incredible job, Ross, of of broadcasting these meetings to let people know what's going on in the lead up to the event. This is what I call pre-FOMO. Oh my God, people will want in on the merch for definite. I mean, I want in on the merch, definitely.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What I guess we need a what do you call it?
Ross, if I could
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
plug in, but merch is possibly a good intersection for you with sponsorship. So the something brand times 100 TV, custom design Rumple, that kind of thing. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Well, I'm just thinking about how sponsorship opportunities come in many shapes and forms. And if we're doing coffee mugs, why not do a branded coffee mug that shows a collaboration between the sponsor and 100 TV, whether it's a specialty, like a specialty design that highlights the partnership, or it's just logo placement or some sort of way to show a value partnership and kind of like a branded adventure together. Particularly if you can get creative with it, and some of those things can be quite covetous. And I did mention Rumple, which makes these amazing blankets, and then they have partners with different artists. And so the merch collection becomes pretty interesting. Now that's a very functional product and it's not so merchy, but I think creative collaborations across platforms is what makes you want the coffee mug.
Yeah, I like that idea very much. And should we do like merch? Should we do clothes? Should we do like T-shirts or hats, or should we go for more quirky items that most merch sites don't sell? What do you think?
Let's do it all. Why not? Now, officially, I am one of the top 50 recommended speakers of tea in the world. And I am actually, I've been talking about relaunching my tea business for quite a while. So maybe I could sell some of my tea in the store as well, and share the love between everybody, share the profits with everybody, because I want everyone to have a better cup of tea in their cupboard, and so if they buy from 100 TV this special flowering green tea, oh my God, people will love that. Let's do that.
I see a tea tasting show emerging.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
30 minutes with a different brew.
There you go.
Maybe we can call it the bitchin' brew.
Love it.
I do too. That's awesome. All right, so we'll take that to Rebecca's going to be in the monetization committee. We'll take that to committee and look at some ideas of what we can do to monetize our shop through the website and reach out to people.
I love it. Ross, remember, I'm sure you're from New Jersey, the old Little League baseball t-shirts that had all the Pizza Johnts and the plumbing place on the back. It'd be 100 TV and then just all these logos, team creator.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it could be an opportunity to entice sponsors. Hey, you sponsor, you get a spot on the back of the T-shirt.
That's what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying.
There you go. Oh yeah.
You don't just get on the show; you get on the T-shirt. Well, welcome, right. Jeff, and High Def.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Good to see you. Tell everybody your name, what your show is, and a line about what we can expect.
Well, every time you ask me that, my show changes, right?
Yeah.
I'm going with the show that I've done in my own Facebook group for a while called Profiles, and it's an interview format around influencers in the social live video space, and it will bridge into some podcasting things like that. And I've had it in my own group now for 2 years, and last year I launched it with a pretty good effort, and then had some things happen where I wanted to delay it a little bit. Now's the time to bring it back, and I'm going to do it on 100 TV. And I've been in video since 1982, and I know it's hard to believe. My gag is I'm only 30, so been around a little bit in video production, a lot of live streaming and some broadcast stuff as well. And Ross is a good friend of mine, and I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, Jeff. We are actually in between agenda items, so I just mentioned that your committee was working, the branding committee was working on some things. Do you want to do a little, and if you need a few minutes, we can go on to something else and come back. Do you want to do a little kind of show and tell about what you guys are working on, or give us kind of an overview of...
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you what the overview is. Obviously, the first thing we started with was we're making final designs and decisions on logo. We've got a new Joie has been working on a branding guide, a style guide for everyone, so they know how to use what we're putting together and when it makes sense, and use cases and things along those lines. And then I think from there, that's going to bridge out. That vibe from that initial imaging is what's really going to carry through the brand. And what we want to do is help the promotions committee, video producers, as they begin to create templates and things along those lines, how to keep the thematic vibe of 100 TV moving in the right direction, so it feels like a real network. We all know that this is not TV, but as I said yesterday, it's one of these things where TV has a lot to teach us, because it teaches you time and rhythm and pace. It teaches you how to have a great conversation, but leave room for a break, leave room for conversation with the audience. And then you add the social part of it on it, which is great. Now you can take that and put the best of both worlds together. And I think you're going to have something that's going to be notable and noticeable. And that's the whole goal there. But right now we're really in the initial stages of this, but we've got some new stuff coming out.
So do you want to show us anything, or do you want to hold off on that?
Well, you're the one driving, but let me just see here. And I wish Joie or Bridgetti was on here to help with this, because I'm not the chairman of this, but I can definitely.
We really don't have chairs in our committee. It's whoever shows up for the meeting gets to speak.
Shows up, there you go.
But I'm not that aware of what you guys are doing, except at a high level. So I'd love to see and understand. I'm sure Rebecca and Making would also. So
yeah, I can do that. Do you have me up where I'm trying to know which one you're in here? Do you have me up where you're seeing my screen?
No, but you can. Let me take a look in. Let me take a look. Can you share? Can you click where it says present, and it'll give you an option to share your screen?
Okay.
And then I'll bring that up into the main window.
Okay. And I have 4 screens, so you'll have to figure out which one you want here. But I apologize, gang.
It's okay.
I want to make sure I get the right one here. So there's so many choices. Here's screen 1. Okay. So you might see yourself there for a moment until I flip back over. So
sure.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready, and then I'll bring.
Yeah, I'm looking back for the tab here. Okay. Okay. So if you want to do that, you can pop me over.
There we go.
Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it. Great.
Okay, so basically what we got here, this is it's still in progress, and I know Joey's taking the lead on it. She's done a great job with what she's doing here. Bridgetti and myself, we've been working on really kind of the idea of what the vibe should look like and be like. And so she's got a couple slides here, and then here in this section are designs that I had put together. And this was the new Facebook cover that I put out there as just as an example. And so she's dividing it down between you know, what the logo with the show covers will look like. You know, we want to have you put your logo in as a bug in the bottom, you know, right hand corner, that kind of thing. We need to finalize these decisions so that we know where it will go and what the use case looks like there. And obviously, you know, there's 2 different logos at the moment, and we're making decisions on that for everyone to present. And then here, there are a couple different, you know, color combinations that can be used in different ways. I mean, they could be used for special events or special recognition or awareness, things along those routes. And then there's enclosed for the website, teasers, reels, shorts. And so these will be available for everybody to grab. And the logo, the reason I picked a bigger circle primarily was that I wanted to be able to put people's faces in it so they can use that in their promos. You know, not only as a still image on Facebook, but when we do these actual teasers of your show, we can actually put you in there while you're talking and zoom through it and some things along those lines. And this is the branding style guide as it sits right now, Ross. We don't have a lot of other things. Now you saw, and I don't have it up here completed because this is just one part of that graphic, but down below there was another section here that showed the faces of all the creators as we have them. And I need to add, you know, our new friends here. But it's one of these things where it's, you know, it's obviously alive, it's in motion. And the whole goal here is to give it a feel of what it is. It's a real creators network. And the vibe is, I think the cross section is, it is a TV network as we look at it, but it's also a creator driven TV network, which is a very original idea. And so that's kind of where we're at with it. And, from there, I'll let you go back and pop me back up if that'll work for you. Otherwise, you're going to get feedback from 1960.
Cool.
So,
all right. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing what you guys are working on.
Yeah.
I want to hit a couple other items. We're actually rolling through this pretty quickly. We need. Oh, go ahead, Rebecca. Oh, you're on mute.
Wow, what a professional. I can't wait. You guys can't wait, right?
That's right.
I just have 2 comments. The first one is that Ego Aside is a brilliant name. As a copywriter, I'm like really enamored with it, and I think it just elegantly communicates the vibe here. So I wanted to say that.
Ross's original idea there was called the Fathead Collective, but that didn't fly so well. So
Ego Aside is really awesome. Also, I've been thinking about this platform as long form TikTok. So I just want to throw out there, as you're talking about what is it, and the original, you know, a real creators network, creator driven. It reminds me of long form TikTok. So that's my contribution.
No, that's an interesting. That's if I was interviewing you on profiles, the question I would have is not only in elaborating on that, which you don't have to do right now, but the idea is that what does that really look like? TikTok is very popular because of the fact that they are very short. So you can literally get 100% viewing in 10 seconds, right? And that's how they're getting a lot of those views, hits, likes, and follows and things. It's also got its own vibe. And I think if I'm understanding you right, Rebecca, it's probably one of these things. What you're saying is it will be where the originality actually meets traditional viewing habits, right? There's a new bend on what has been done in the past. And
I've heard more than one person call TikTok the new TV, which I agree. And the short form is appealing, but I also think what's appealing is the absolute wild orchard of creators that you can follow and curate and create your own viewing experience based on those preferences, which I see a real potential of here. And I don't know if it's the brevity that makes it so exciting as, to me, the first person perspective and a lot of different ways of viewing the world. And I see a real leveling of the playing field of the the global discourse, essentially. And to me, it's not a far reach to think about this kind of platform as having similar qualities to TikTok.
No, I love it. I think that's a good example.
Yeah. Jeff, we got a question from our YouTube audience. Our friend Beauty Bubble asks, can you share or pitch the tagline, the 100% creators and its genesis?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say that, Beauty Bubble sounds like our first sponsor. I would love to have my show brought to you by Beauty Bubble in 16 ounce or 32 ounce, right? It was actually something that I put under the logo because I'm a big believer in no matter what you do, how you operate, you start with why, right? There's a number of people that speak on this, but Simon Sinek is one of the authors and originators of this thing, Start With Why. And I felt like that, when you see logos a million, you see TV networks, you look at Roku, you look at, Apple and all these other places, you see a billion of these things floating around, but you don't really understand why they would be different or what they're all about. And the idea there was to really bring to life the idea that we're 100% creators in this. In other words, typical TV buys programming from people, and there's different organizations and things like that. But this is actually organic programming that is coming to fruition and growing. And it's brought to you by the people that actually have a stake in the network. And I think that's different. That really was the end all be all. That was literally me in Photoshop thinking what would make sense in that moment. And that's what I put down was under the logo 100% creators. But then it was the idea of, how do we grow that a little bit where people understand the why behind what we're trying to do? And I think that will make a little bit more of a difference. And it also is that signaling of support that we need your support to do this kind of thing, because as we lift and we rise together, there'll be other people wanting to come along. And that's where we can help them understand how to do that as well.
Well said. Well said.
Brought to you by Beauty Bubble.
Brought to you by Beauty Bubble. Thanks for the great question, Beauty Bubble. I want to move on to number 6 on our agenda, which is a contract between the creative partners that we would all sign with 100 TV and everybody we would bring on that protects our creations and protects the network. Rick mentioned who was at the meeting last night, he's going to reach out to an attorney, so I will say that we kind of hang on, and if anybody has experience with doing these type of contracts, we'd love your input. But why don't we see as well how that comes back from Rick, and we'll do that. The next thing is the ownership of content we talked about last night. Rick Savoia raised the question of who owns the content between the network and people, and Rick again is reaching out to a lawyer on that. We've updated our language in the FAQ, so I think we're on a good track with that, but let's again, we'll hang out and see what Rick comes up with. The other issue that Rick raised was 100 TV's name, and as far as we can tell, there's no trademarks on 100 TV, and we do own the 100tvnetwork.com domain, so I think we're in good standing there.
Well, you would be in good standing until somebody wanted to do the trademark instead of us. That's how that would work, is that anybody with that trademark would have the ability to take that name once they own it. So, and I know that on a baseline, I don't want to know for sure, but I know in my area, it's like $2,000 to get something trademarked from a lawyer and that kind of thing. But I think we should probably secure the intellectual property of the identity that we're going for at some point. I think that's going to be smart, because you're right. I mean, you can say that nobody will do it, but you never know if anybody would do it, so.
Right. Yeah. I haven't done the official. I've used the TM, the little TM where you kind of claim first dibs on it.
Well, the only thing about that is, from a legal point of view, that first dibs doesn't exist because you're actually using that TM in violation of its use, right? So,
well, I think when it's registered, then you get the R, right? Then it's a registered trademark.
Exactly, but you have to file, I think, to be able to use the TM. But the thing is it's just good due diligence to know that that everybody, because we're signing agreements with ourselves essentially. Yeah. We're signing it with the collective to some degree, and I think that it's just if we do it, it would be good. And as I mentioned, on another call, that maybe the idea would be not just call it 100 TV, but it's actually known officially as 100 TV Creators Network. And that gives it enough of a uniqueness that if someone else has 100 TV in Indonesia, there's more distinguishable uniqueness there. But I'm not an attorney, and probably shouldn't listen, but.
So we'd keep the 100 TV but you
would
add that to the title, the official title or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's not right either. I don't know, but we'll see when we got our friends in the legal, that are going to join. So
cool. So we've actually made it through the agenda. I'm just curious for May King and Rebecca being new. Is there anything that's sort of on your agenda, on your mind that like, okay, maybe the group hasn't thought of this, but I want to throw it out there, or something you see that we should be working on?
I have to admit, when I saw the document, loved it. Very professional,
Thank you.
and I felt that it covered a lot of ground. So and I just feel truly, truly privileged to be for Marisa, grateful to Marisa for passing it on to me, and thank you to you, Ross, for approving my request as well. One thing I wanted to ask was actually a description of all the committees, just so that I know where my time is best served, as it were. I definitely know I'm not an email girl or a website girl. But with regards to branding, is there anything that I could contribute? Sounds like Jeff and Joe have done an incredible job there. So
There's
a
always
description of
something.
all the committees would be great.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
there's
put
always
that in
something.
the Facebook group, and you can take a look and
Yeah.
decide. Go ahead,
Lovely. That's great. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, there's always something that you can contribute, and I think in the early going here, we're all going to be on multiple levels of the committee, and I think in different places just to help and offer insight. And I think that's, there's always wisdom in the abundance of good counsel. So
It makes sense.
So
Rebecca?
with the time we got, Ross, if I hijack your interview show here, I would
It's
like
not
to
an
know.
interview show. Go ahead.
I'd like to know what Rebecca and May King are thinking about doing.
May?
So thanks for getting my name right as well, Jeff. So Making is my first name, and I already have a YouTube show that I just started a couple of months ago called the FOMO Creator Show. But for 100 TV, I'm going to niche down even further to my first love, which is creating FOMO for events. So helping people to understand why they need a FOMO creator, what is a FOMO creator, how does that help to promote an event, and all the stages within that. I've been creating FOMO for myself and for clients since 2009, on and off, in the UK, in Australia, and have some clients in the States as well. So yeah, I know a little bit about FOMO creating for events.
Well,
so that's
awesome.
what I'm going to be talking about.
Are you based in the UK?
I am now, yes. I lived in Australia for 6 years until they booted me out and said, no, go back home. So I had to rebuild my life, rebuild my business in 2016. But yeah, no, it's been great.
Terrific.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Rebecca?
Awesome. First, I'll answer your primary question, which is anything else that we wanted to know as newbies. And I think my biggest curiosity, and probably this will distill itself over time, is who is the core or target audience for 100 TV at its heart. And knowing that will help think about sponsorship opportunities and figure out ways to generate money. So that is the number one thing I'm curious about, is who is our target audience, or who's the ideal person who would be tapping in to 100 TV Creators Network, which is exciting. And Jeff, in answer to your second question, Ross and I ideated the show yesterday. Is brand new original content. I do have a YouTube live show currently. This is day 21 of me having that show. Cool. I came at it completely green, so I'm the most moldable creator maybe on the network. But just like this, we're building that show out live, and Ross is going to be on next week and help us do some development stuff. And that leaves me to that we don't know yet. That's the whole point. I'm doing all the development meetings live because I don't know what makes a good show. I don't know what the content's going to be, but I'm strategically having folks who I would normally talk to offline and just do it live and kind of build it over time, just like Ross is doing. So we're very simpatico.
Yeah. So you're building the show, we're building the network, but we're both doing it in front of the world.
In front of the world. In front of the world.
Getting the best feedback from our audiences.
That little puppy's called Stone Fruit Roll Up. But this
I
one
love it.
for this network is another original show calling Business and the Raw, which is a peek behind the curtain at entrepreneurial realness and how folks are building very powerful brands, brave and powerful brands. The tears, the triumphs, the valleys, the peaks. A real raw look at entrepreneurial grit.
I don't know if you've ever heard this, Rebecca, but I heard this from a friend of mine who is a very good speaker and has made a good living with it. And he said that he'd heard this was a quote from Elon Musk at one point, and it was being an entrepreneur is like staring into the abyss of death, chewing on shards of glass. And I thought that's actually a good starting point for most people, because everybody, you hear this all the time. You hear this all the time on TV, on social media. Hey, give up the 9 to 5. You've got it in you. And the truth of the matter is, you may have it in you, but the thing I've realized is that you have to also grow into the place where you can handle these bigger things. And that journey sometimes is chewing on shards of glass.
It is absolutely baptism by fire. Yep. And I truly believe that we are not transparent enough about that experience. And so people who enter business are really kind of buying into Entrepreneur Inc., in my opinion. And so we're kind of doing a disservice by not being really authentic about what it is like, even the great stuff and the terrible stuff and the confusion and the identity crises and the pivots and all of that. Let's be honest about what that is.
Yeah, because most people only know you when you brought a rocket ship company and you bought Twitter, right? It's like nobody sees the 30 years in between where you're like, what am I gonna eat this week,
Well, isn't that why we're building this network live and in front of a studio, in front of a internet audience, I guess I could say, for that exact reason, so that 20 years from now, when Ross has his own Wikipedia entry for being a media genius, we'll have seen how the sausage is made and inspired other people to do the same, so that independent creators can have a platform that is not controlled by a very tight bottleneck of folks who run networks, run profiteering networks. So I'm excited to be part of this zeitgeist.
Well,
Rebecca, I applaud you for the show, by the way. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. When I talk about creating FOMO, it's about creating FOMO and being in, real raw right now, because, for the past sort of, 15, 20 years, reality TV has come into being. But it's still polished. It's still highly edited, and we're still only getting the highlights, aren't we? So, to really knuckle down and everyone's feelings are valid. I got my Instagram and Facebook accounts hacked in November, and I cried. Oh my God, I cried. I thought my world was over. And luckily, because of the support of my great dear friends, Marisa being one of them, it wasn't, if it wasn't for their love and support and their kindness, their empathy, I wouldn't have been able to come out onto the other side and actually, clear my head and think, okay, I just need to create a new Instagram account. I need to create a new Facebook account. But at the time, it felt my world was over. And we don't hear about that bit, do we? We don't hear about that bit. We only hear about like Jess said, the successes of buying a rocket ship or, buying Twitter and all the rest of it. But we don't hear about us getting there until, after the success has happened. So I really look forward to your show. I think it's really, really important.
Thank you so much, May King. I really appreciate that. If we can save just a few hearts from being broken because they don't know what to expect, they really think it's a linear journey between I have an idea or I hate my boss to, $20,000 months. It is not linear by any means, and it is absolutely baptism by fire. So we're going to pull back the curtain and get some real people in the chair and do some real anthropotherapy. So some people might go back to their day job. then be an entrepreneur within your organization. Take the spirit of it and be an entrepreneur there and thrive in that environment. This isn't for everybody. It is not for everybody. And honestly, the more influx we have of people who are kind of chasing the magazine ad of it, depletes resources from the people out here who honestly have problem-solving value to deliver.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't pitch you the difficult parts. They only pitch you the glamorous part, or the the cool part of it.
If anyone here's a parent, it will look familiar, because we do the same thing to mothers. Honestly.
Oh wow.
That's awesome. Well, this is great. We got through this in like record time. We got through the whole agenda, and thank you all for being here and being a part of 100 TV. And we'll be back next week with another live meeting. So hope to see you there. Take care, everybody.
I can't wait. See you, creators.
Bye.